Hey, what's up guys? My name is Yohso. I am a fire mage based off of the realm Darkspear. I decided to make this guide because so far I have helped 3 different fire mages out, basically, when they were dueling, when they tried to duel me, when I saw them dueling other people. They lost like terribly, I'll be honest, like they were pretty bad at fire mages. Or people on their alts, they saw me duel, and then they say, hey, I have a fire mage, I've never been able to do that, can you help me out? I've helped so many people like this, and it takes a really long time to explain to them what all is happening. So I'm just going to make a really short video. I figure that instead of just telling people, it'd be easier to show, and it's going to alleviate a lot of time on my end because I don't mind helping people. I really don't. I like doing it, but it takes some time. Um, so the first thing when it comes down to fire mages is you have to understand 2 very important passives that level 90 fire mages are going to have. The first one being, of course, Shatter. This doubles your critical chance of all your spells against frozen targets. So if you have 25%, it'll be 50, and then plus an additional 50%. So if you have 50%, then it'd be 100%. So the bare minimum of crit that you should be trying to go for is 25%. See, you can see here with my Molten Armor, my Arcane Brilliance, and I'm reforged into crit on all my stuff. I'm sitting at exactly pretty much 25%. That was trying my best to get all the crit, so unless you're pretty geared, you're not going to be able to get exactly at 100% crit and a shatter, but that's the first thing you're going to want to try to go for. The second passive that a lot of people overlook, and it's really frustrating, so you guys have to remember this, is called Pyromaniac. Basically what this means is when you put your bomb spells on a target, I'll do it right here, it puts a debuff on it called Pyromaniac, and it increases the damage done by your Fireball, Pyroblast, Inferno Blast, and Frostfire Bolt by 10%. So if you hit a Pyroblast for 100k, it's going to hit for 110k instead. When you consider that when we burst, we do 3 or 4 Pyroblasts, that's, a 40k difference in damage, which is, it really adds up over the period of a game. And that's not even including your Inferno Blast and stuff like that. So definitely always keep your bombs up. It's really important. A lot of mages fail really badly at doing this. That's part of the reason why they have so many issues. So keep your bombs up. Alright, now when it comes to deep freeze combinations, there are a couple of different variations. I'm going to tell you guys the most basic one. You guys have to practice this one. If you guys take the last part of my video, which is going to be my macro, out of this, then and you only use that macro, then you're never going to be a good fire mage. That's all there is to it. You might get lucky, global some people, but if you guys don't know how to set up burst more than once every altered time, then, it's just, it's not going to work out for you. Before I show you guys, I'm going to just tell you the combination. The combination is after you get a Pyroblast proc, you're going to want to living bomb the target, make sure you have a bomb up. You're going to want to deep freeze them. Pyroblast, Combust, Pyroblast, Inferno Blast, and Pyroblast. That way you have 3 Pyroblasts in that combination, 1 Combustion that's ticking for some pretty mad damage, and an Inferno Blast. It should amount to about 400k. I'll show you guys here on the training dummy how much it actually does. So I'm going to start getting a Pyroblast proc. When you're testing it out, really easy. Just use Inferno Blast twice in a row. It'll get you that Pyro proc that you need. I'll go ahead and wait for this to reset here so I can show you how much damage it does. I'm going to Living Bomb. And here it goes. Inferno Blast, Combust, Inferno Blast, Pyroblast, sorry. There you go. You can see here it's still going up about 800,000 damage. in about, 5 seconds. Pretty intense damage. It's not going to be that effective, obviously, on PvP resilience targets. It's never going to one-shot anyone. But it should do about 100% to 30%, 20%, almost one-shot them. So, yeah, it's a really, really great burst combination. Don't underestimate its power. Another thing that people don't realize, it's really important to getting our maximum burst, is global cooldowns. You can see here when I'm casting Ice Lance, all these spells have a windmill of shadow going around them. Like, look at Dragon's Breath, look at that shadow that's ticking around it. That means that because I just casted that, I have to wait a second before I can cast another spell. Notice, however, how some spells don't have that. Alter Time doesn't have the windmill. Combustion doesn't have the windmill. My Shadow Mill doesn't have it. What that means is that the second I use this Ice Lance, I can also use Combustion without any delay. So check this out. I use them both at the exact same time. Combustion, right there. It's on cooldown. The quicker that you press the buttons, the better. That means that if you're a clicker and you're trying to play Fire Mage, you'll never be able to do it as fast as anyone else, because you have to do some things at the exact same time. And that's especially true when we get to my Ultra Time macro. Here's this. This is actually Hansol's one-shot macro. I take absolutely no credit for this at all. What it does is it uses your PvP trinket. It uses Alter Time, and then it uses Pyroblast, and then it unalters time. So basically, when you use this in a deep freeze, what it's going to do is it's going to use your trinket, Pyroblast them, and then teleport you back while the Pyroblast is in mid-air. So you'll have the initial Pyroblast proc because of the Alter Time fading, in addition to a heating up proc because your last Pyroblast crit. So that means that you can do 2 more Pyroblasts and then combust a third Pyroblast, or a 4th Pyroblast, and then an Inferno Blast and a Pyroblast. So that's 5 Pyroblasts right there, all in one macro. You have to understand 2 things about this macro that's really important. The macro will only cast 1 Pyroblast. The rest is up to you. That's really important. The second part is that Deep Freeze and Combustion are both off the global cooldown, and so is Alter Time. So, to get as much burst as possible out of this, you have to cast Deep Freeze and spam the macro as much as possible at the exact same time. Sometimes it is possible that the macro will go off and then not revert back because it bugs. The best way to resolve that issue is by using Deep Freeze and Alter Time in the exact same global cooldown. That's the reason why some of you can't get Hansol's macro to work. You have to use it at the exact same time. So here I'll just go ahead and show you the macro once. Notice you'll see the rims light up. You'll see that I'm pressing them both at the exact same time. It's really important, guys. I can't stress that enough. See? 2 heating up procs, combust, another crit, Inferno Blast, and another Pyroblast. That was 5 Pyroblasts. I'm sitting at 1,400,000 damage in 1 combustion. Guys, that will one-shot people. Okay? 1 Deep Freeze, it will be over. It's really hard to pull off, I'll be honest, and your procs can be dispelled, your Deep Freeze can be dispelled, but it's really potent. If you don't do it right and you're too slow, you don't use Alter Time and Deep Freeze in the same combination, everything will get fucked, and I can guarantee you that. You have to practice this a lot. You're not going to be perfect the first time around. And you have to get proficient with the first burst before you can really do the second burst. Trust me on that. Please focus on the first part of the burst combination that I showed you before this, before you use my macro. Past that, if you guys are interested, these are the masteries I take. This third tree right here, Frostjaw, Iceward, Ring of Frost, I switch that up all the time. You can see here I have 30 tomes of the Clear Mind. I probably restock every 2 or 3 days. Ring of Frost, as a fire mage, I'll be honest, isn't that good. You'd be surprised by that, but unless you're going against like a Warlock and a Beastmaster Hunter, you know, if it's a melee cleave, take Iceward. If it's, you know, a caster cleave, or like 2 casters and a Ret Pally, or 2 casters and a Frost DK, take Frostjaw. The only time Ring of Frost is really important is when neither of those are too crazy effective. Iceward is actually incredibly underrated. You can actually cast it on allies. See there? So if she were to be hit, it would drop a Nova around her. Use that to peel for your healers. Difference is it's a 20-second cooldown. It lasts 30 seconds, so you can essentially do that 3 times more often than a Ring of Frost, which is, you know, huge, obviously. So, yeah. Keep an open mind when it comes to masteries and shit. You never know what might turn up. Another thing that's essential, Glyph of Deep Freeze. You have to have it. I think that even in 5.2, when they extend the duration of Deep Freeze, even without the Glyph, you're gonna have to have it. If you don't do this, the Alter Time macro will bug, and also, if there are stuns on DR, you need to get as much pyros off as possible ASAP, or, you know, if it gets spelled, same thing. If you cast that and use your one-shot macro, and they instantly dispel it, in the same global cooldown, you'll at least have 1 Pyroblast crit on them, plus an additional 2 procs, you know, and if that's like 3 Pyroblast right there, even if they instantly dispel Deep Freeze. If you don't take this, and they dispel that Deep Freeze in the same global cooldown as you use it, then that's all your burst. That's everything. So, yeah, it's really invaluable. I also take Polymorph and Evocation for PvP, arena type situations. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Any other information you might need is, you know, I gym primarily for PvP resilience. I'm a jewel crafter, so I do use the 32 320 intellect reds on 2 of my pieces of gear, but other than that, PvP resilience. Greens are PvP power. For blues, I use 80 intellect and 160 PvP power. Not really the best bet. There are some better gems, but I was just too lazy to change them up. Past that, guys, if you guys have any questions, just, you know, comment below. If this helped you out at all, I'd appreciate a like if you could. And before I leave you guys, I'll go ahead and leave you guys some music and some duels. Peace out.
Your respect, I just slaughter. Don't be bothered. Watch where you step, it might be hot water. You oughta pay me now, cause right now it's about to go down. You gotta get paid. No gas, I'm out of this game. It's crazy, I get more money by killing these fools now. Ain't that funny? You gotta get paid. More gas, I'm out of this game. It's crazy, I get more money by killing these fools now. Ain't that funny? Jack, he's a psychomaniac. That's right, it's death on sight. It don't matter who's wrong or right. I just might catch you slipping. Getting paid is my intuition and my ambition. It's the brother city in the siege. More death, more cheese. Gotta get the paper, reach Jamaica. And these boss on the Undertaker. And ain't no shortage, I can't be laid off. In fact, rest in chaos. I get paid. No gas, I'm out of this game. It's crazy, I get more care if I got your respect. I just slaughter, don't be bothered. Watch where you step, it might be hot water. You oughta pay me now, cause right now it's about to go down.